What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for Real Housewives of Potomac. This is Season 4, Reunion Part Number 2. So without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and just jump into tonight's video. Alright, so the reunion. It picked up where the reunion left off from Part 1 with Ashley and Candace arguing back and forth with each other. Really stupid. Made no sense what they were arguing about. It really makes no sense with Candace arguing with Ashley. I just don't get it. So then we see the men, they show up. We see Michael there with his sweaty back. And, you know, that was pretty much it. They just, you know, I don't know who put it to an end, but they ended that shit. All right, next, you guys, we get into Candace and we get into Monique. So we find out that, you know, Monique has blocked Candace on, I think, Instagram or whatever. And the reason that she blocked her is because of that whole, you know, homicide thing, that homicide comment. And then Candace, you know, brought it back up on social media. So she kind of blocked her because of that. And then, you know, we talk about why was it easy for Monique to forgive Ashley after everything that happened last season. Monique answered that question. You know, she says when she forgives, she actually forgives. But, you know, she's just saying that a lot of people don't. And I don't know if it's necessarily that people didn't forgive. I think it's just the fact that, you know, Ashley said some, you know, harsh and hurtful things last season. And it just wasn't cool. I don't know if I would have forgiven her. And then Candace says, you know, she felt like, well, actually, Monique said she felt what Candace said was not cool about, you know, Ashley and her pregnancy. So then Monique says that, you know, they talk about the text message that Monique showed Ashley. And Monique says she showed those text messages because it was said that she was laughing. And, you know, Robin says, that, well, you know, you could have done that a different way. Like, you could have, you didn't have to necessarily throw Candace under the bus, which I agree with that. She could have done, you know, there are many things that she could have done. And, you know, Candace said that there were comments that were made. I'm guessing these are comments that weren't televised, but she did make one comment on camera about it, you know, Karma coming back to, you know, Bruce or something like that. And Ashley was like, you know, the reason why she was able to let that go, what Monique said, was because of Monique's actions. And then Candace says, you know, says that she felt like she was used by Monique to look good to Ashley. So then they start arguing with one another, and I'm just like, okay, what are we arguing about? What are we even talking about? Like, I was just thoroughly confused. Like, it just made no sense to me whatsoever. Like, the whole argument was really stupid, petty, made no sense to me, to be honest with you. All right, so next we move into Robin. So, you know, Andy asked Robin, has she sold the flip houses, you know, the flop houses she had? She says yes. He says, how much did she make for it? She said, I make 30-something thousand. You know, it was originally, you know, we were looking at 60,000, but 30,000 is not bad. So then Andy asked her, so are you still looking to do some more? She says, yeah, you know, I'm looking around to see what I can find. I'm like, you really shouldn't, because it took you too long to do that one. But I guess now Robin knows what to do and what not to do, so maybe it'll work out for her. So then we talk about how Giselle came at Monique at the open house party. And, you know, the question was, did she feel any type of way about it? Did she feel like she owed an apology to Robin? She says yes. And she said, she felt bad about the open house. I'm like, no, you didn't. You clearly didn't feel bad because you came in on 10. So you couldn't have felt bad. But she said she did apologize to Robin. And then then we get into the whole thing about Robin and Juan. And, you know, so Andy was like, so you let Google beat your sons, let Google tell your sons about you and Juan's relationship before you guys could? And then he asked her, like, whose idea was it to come up with the tattoos? She said, well, it was, you know, my idea. And, you know, she says, you know, her boys always ask them what's next. And then they were like, well, you know, why come you got the tattoo, like, right in the middle of your finger? She says, because she don't, you know, because even Karen was like, you know, I thought you would have done something, like, right here on your finger and not in here because we can't really see it. And she said that she didn't want something that was visible. I'm like, okay, Robin, whatever. So if you don't want something that was visible, what was the purpose in getting it in the first place? Because wasn't it supposed to be a symbolization of you and Juan's relationship? So now nobody's going to know you and Juan have a relationship unless they watched Real Housewives of Potomac. Didn't make sense, huh? Didn't think so. Really don't make any kind of sense. So then, you know, they all talking about how, I think Giselle talking about how she wants Robin and Juan to get remarried again. And then they would talk, Karen said, well, with Giselle, I would like for you to get married again too, because you're a lot nicer when you're married. And everybody agreed with that. You know, they were like, yeah, she's a lot nicer when she's getting some D. I'm like, that is sad to say. Giselle's a nicer person when she's getting some dick. Ha! Okay. And then Andy asked the question of Robin. He was like, so, you know, for you and Juan, when do you expect us, you know, for you guys to, you know, probably get married? She said, I would expect it within a year or within a year and a half. I'm like, oh God. So that's gonna be her storyline for next season because I know that they are currently in production for season 5. So I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be her storyline, isn't it? Because I think I've heard so far all the girls are back. Now I know that Media Takeout put out there that Ashley and Michael were not returning, but I have not saw anybody say that Ashley is not returning this season. So this is just a rumor at this point. So then we move over and we start talking about Karen and Giselle's relationship. And, you know, Karen's like, when it comes down to Giselle, I didn't take bullshit from her. And I'm like, you go, Karen. Like, you, because, and I get where Karen is coming from. When it comes to Giselle, Giselle is one way to her in her face. Like, Giselle is, you know, she's fun. She's fun. Basically, she's just fun. But then behind your back, she's shady as hell. And it's just like, really? You ain't got to be shady for no, like, it's the shadiness that bothers me with Giselle. And I think about this Karen as well. It's the shade that she throws. Like, you'll say one thing in her face, but then in your green screen, well, they don't do green screens. They do, you know, their interviews. In your interviews, you doing a different thing. Like, come on. But, I mean, the same thing can be said for Karen. But Karen is doing stuff in retaliation to what Giselle does. And then, you know, Karen just wants her, you know, Karen wants Giselle to be good to her. And, you know, because there are two sides to her. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And, you know, she just wants her to be less shady and be her friend. And then, you know, they talk about how they've been friends for years. They did a bake-off, and Karen won the bake-off. But Giselle said that she cheated. It was funny. But we're going to move on. All right, you guys. So next we talk to Monique. So we talk about Monique, how she took a backseat to all the drama this season. And she took a backseat because she was pregnant. And she did let us know that she almost lost the baby. I think at 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. It was early in the pregnancy. And then, you know, Andy asked her if she and Chris having sex. She says, yes, we are having sex at this point. And then, you know, somebody pointed out that Chris's mom looks like him. Chris looks like his mom minus the wig. But if you put a wig on him, he looks exactly like his mom. And I'm like, oh my God, I never saw that. And then, you know, they asked the question, are things good between her and Miss Shirley? She says, yeah, things are good with us right now. You know, and then she also said, but there was a lot of stuff that you guys did not see. You guys saw a snippet of some of the stuff that was happening. So then, you know, we move over and we talk about the relationship between Giselle and Monique. And Giselle felt nothing about her approach at that party to Monique. And I'm just like, are you serious? You felt nothing? Like she said, I owed Robin an apology. You owed Monique an apology too. Like, you did not have to come at Monique. If you felt what Ashley told you was factual, you should have went to Monique and been like, you know, had a conversation with Monique outside of the, not even outside of the cameras, had a conversation with Monique at a different setting. You know, Monique, let me pull you to the side. Or you could have said at that party, like, Monique, can I pull you to the side real quick? Like, I don't want to do this in front of the girls. Like, let's go up to the side. Let's have a side conversation. And if she said, cool, let's do that. So you pull up to the side and be like, yo, Monique, so Ashley was telling me that you were telling her that, you know, you feel like it's, oh, me and Robin don't like you. Like, what's up with that? And then that would have gave Monique the opportunity to be like, oh, Giselle, you know, I never said that you guys don't like me. You know, whatever Monique said, she could have repeated what she said. But Giselle came in at 10. And it's just the fact that she just does not see anything wrong with that. She feels like she owes Robin the apology, but you owe Robin an apology and you owe Monique an apology. Like, I don't get how she doesn't see that. Like, it's just something, it's something off with her, for real. And then Giselle literally skated around the question because she said, well, Ashley told me that. And Andy asked her the question, like, but did you see it on TV? She said, but I'm going off of what Ashley said, but did you see it on TV? Oh, God. Like, she was irritating me a little bit. But she does say, you know what, I was at a 10. Maybe I could have brought it down to a 1. And, you know, Monique was like, thank you for saying that. I was like, thank you for saying it too. For real. Because that shit was irritating. All right. And then lastly, before we go into part 3 of the reunion, which is the final part of the reunion. So, we discuss Michael. So Robin says that, it was Juan's dick that Michael wanted to suck, which a lot of people have been saying that, which we knew that. And then Ashley is talking about how she just does not feel that it's true. And then, Andy was like, but three people said it. It was Robin, it was Monique, nope, it was Robin, Candace, and Chris. So all three of them were wrong in what they heard. And she just did not want to listen to it. I'm like, girl, come on. You know your husband want to suck dick. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, if that's what he want to do, that's what he want to do. Nobody's judging him. So then Andy asked, Robin, did you tell Juan? She said, yeah, I had to tell Juan because Michael called Juan and told Juan to tell me to stop talking about it. And Andy was like, well, how did he react to it? She said he laughed at first, but then he told me to stop talking about it. Yeah, because he was uncomfortable. And Ashley's talking about how she just felt like that was so timed and malicious. And I'm like, really? You think that was timed and malicious? But you've done a lot of stuff over the seasons that people could say, hey, Ashley was doing something that was very calculated, that was very timed, and that was very malicious. Especially when it comes to Robin and Juan and Karen and Ray, Monique. Like, you've done it. So it's pretty much like the pot calling the kettle black. And I was, Ashley is a walking contradiction at this point. And then also the ladies are saying that, when it came down to their party, they didn't know anything at that time. They didn't know anything about Michael's legal situation with the cameraman. So, and then Giselle, like, she don't want to admit that at the party that she was the one who started this shit in the first place. And then, Karen, she was also talking about because remember at the party, Karen was like, she wanted to give Robin a hug for bringing it up. And Karen was like, she didn't do that. But they were like, yes, Karen, you did do that. You were relishing in it. She says, well, you know what? If you say I'm relishing in it, I was relishing in it. Yes, Karen, you were relishing in it. And it's okay. It is okay. Because Ashley relished in your tax issues last year. So, turnabout is fair play. And I'm not even upset about it. I don't feel no types of way about it. Ashley got what was coming to her. Karma is a big what? Bitch. So then Giselle says to Ashley, is like, I just wanted to have your back. Like, I just want to know what to say to you. And the thing, so here's something that really kind of, got me with Ashley. Because all the ladies, Giselle, Candace, Robin, I don't know about Monique, but I know Karen was in agreement with this. They felt like Michael owed Ashley an apology because Michael would not be in this situation that he's in, being on the show Real Housewives of Potomac, if it were not for Ashley. He wouldn't be on the blogs if it were not for Ashley. He wouldn't be on TMZ if it wasn't for Ashley, because Real Housewives of Potomac follows Ashley and Michael is an extension of Ashley. So they felt like Michael owed Ashley an apology, and Ashley was like, he didn't owe me an apology. And I got where the women were coming from. The girls were saying he owes you an apology because your name was attached to this, because Giselle said it. Like, if you go to Google and Google Ashley Darby, it might say Michael Darby grabbed the ass. And that was like one thing when this stuff happened, when you Googled Ashley's name, that was all that popped up was this Michael situation. So what they were saying was he owed her an apology for the way that this looked on camera and in the blogs and everywhere, because it looked bad on Ashley. Because then people start to bring into question, did Ashley know about this? How long has she known about this? And is this just a front? So I do believe Michael owed Ashley an apology. Ashley doesn't believe he does. But, if Ashley feels that way, that's Ashley's business. I don't have anything to say with that. So then, the ladies said that I know Karen said that she met the cameraman. I think all the ladies said that they met the cameraman, and he's a good guy, and they don't think he's the type of person that will make up a lie. And then Ashley was like, but when that came out, nobody else came out behind it and said that that happened to them. Okay, whatever. But they did say, Robin said that, back in season 1, when Michael grabbed Andrew's ass, there were some other producers that told them that Michael had grabbed their ass. So, and I'm irritated with Ashley because Ashley wants to make it out like everybody is lying. everybody can't be lying, Ashley. Like, yes, one or two people could be lying, but multiple people, they're not lying. Like, your husband has done some stuff. Like, we saw him grab Andrew's ass. We literally saw that in season 1. So I don't know what I don't know what it is with her, but she's in denial of some sorts. But you guys, that was Real Housewives of Potomac Reunion Part 2. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later.